You're listening to RealAgriculture.com. Get real, get connected. Sean Haney here with RealAgriculture.com, joined by a big newsmaker today, Wade Barnes. He is the founder, CEO of Farmers Edge, based out of Manitoba. How are you doing today, Wade?
I'm doing very well, Sean. Thanks.
Well, Wade, explain to us kind of the big news, the big press release that came out this morning.
Yeah, I mean, Farmers Edge is expanding quickly in markets all over the world, but we have a really high level of focus on the U.S. and with our activity down there, we needed to have a base of operations, and we looked at the market and felt that Minneapolis-based office made the most amount of sense for us. So we already had a presence in Nebraska with our acquisition of Farm Command, and also with our embedded engineering team based out of there, but we needed to have more of a sales and agronomy focus as well.
So is your focus obviously the corn, soybean belt? Is that kind of the target market for a Farmer's Edge customer in the U.S.?
Well, actually, the corn belt is is a high priority for us, but also the wheat belt is really important. We're a Canadian company that has a lot of expertise in wheat, and we think that we can add a lot of value in that market as well. So our focus is the Midwestern corn states, the Northern Plains, and we think the Southern Plains is also a really good fit for our technology, with a focus around Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and then stretching over into the Midwest.
Well, obviously, with opening up an office in the U.S., you're committed to that market. What attracts you the most to the U.S. market when you look at your product line?
Well, for us, we're really committed to, one, the precision agriculture side of it, but also the data and information side of things. And we think that some of the issues that precision ag has had is that the cost per acre, to a degree, has been prohibitive for large-scale adoption. And, based on the product that we offer that focuses around, data movement, telematics, field-centric weather, imagery-based solutions, and VRT at a price point that makes things really attractive. And so there's been sort of a strategy, I think, around precision ag providers, is that in the Corn Belt we charge a lot more because there's more revenue that comes off those acres, and in the Wheat Belt we charge less, and we sort of see our product standardize across. We won't change the price point of what we provide, whether you're in dryland area of Montana or a high yielding corn area in Iowa. So we think that our product probably performs on an agronomic side better than what you would consider traditional grid sampling, and the price point is much more competitive, and it also provides this whole focus around data and information and using that for farmers to help make decisions. So we just think that our product is really compelling, and it's something that's different than what's being currently offered.
So how long ago did you start Farmers Edge?
It seems like a long time ago, 2005.
Okay, so when you're sitting at your kitchen table in 2005, was this the dream? Was this, or is this one of the sort of check the boxes U.S. expansion?
No, when we first started, our focus was to deal with the handful of really good clients in our local community of the 25,000 acres, and our thoughts were that we would get to play hockey and go hunting and fishing and do all the things that good rural kids want to do, but the business really expanded quickly and broadened our horizons throughout Western Canada. I think for us, the market was changing, and the idea of information and data helping farmers make better decisions. I think we understood that our product we had was much more adaptable to what was going on, and it was much more. It wasn't so much focused around apps. That it was more ground truth and real to a grower, and a grower could really get his head wrapped around it. So I think as we grew, we could understand that this system that we had was not just adaptable in Manitoba or Alberta or Saskatchewan, that it could work in places like Nebraska or Texas or Brazil or Australia.
From a precision ag, like when you look at the life cycle of the stage that precision ag is at as a whole, is it still in tremendous growth mode, or is it maturing? How do you view the market?
I mean, I think it's some of both. I think that the market is, for to a degree, in its very infancy. But there's been early adopters that are really seasoned and experienced and sort of seen it all kind of come through. And I so I think that there's sort of twofold, is that the early adopters have a lot of scars in precision agriculture in order to make it work and create value around it. So those groups, I would say, are very cautious about of service offerings or strategy, because they sort of know how things work and what's valuable. I think there's another huge segment that hasn't really moved towards it because of the fear of how to actually make a lot of this stuff work and make sure that it doesn't actually negatively affect their logistics, and they struggle with whether there's a payback. And so I think a big part is that there needs to be an ability that farmers can adapt to this in a cost-effective way, that it doesn't harm their logistics on their farms, and that they can see value, and that there's a longer-term ability of using information to help them manage their farms better. So I think that you're going to see a huge growth in the industry based to the people that aren't using it currently. But also I think that the guys that have been around for a while are going to be pretty hard on new technology or new strategies, because they've been around long enough to know better.
So obviously, big news today, U.S. expansion. But when we look through the lens of Wade Barnes, what's next for Farmers Edge?
Well, I mean, I think for us is that we want to make a compelling product that works for farms and in the markets that are larger scale ag. So that's Canada, the U.S., Brazil, Australia, and Eastern Europe. And our focus is that product should be similar all the way around. And I think the big thing for us is that our goal is to put this program out where we log all this data and information, and then figure out how that information can help the farmer with decisions or create value for them. I think that I'm a huge, as you know, I'm a huge believer in how big data can that make big changes in agriculture. I think our goal is that we have to create the big data so that we can do analytics and make those changes. So that's our goal. We want to do this on a scalable. We want to get millions of acres, and then we want to do cool things that will make huge disruptive changes in agriculture that'll make change farmers' lives. I mean, we want to be realistic about those changes, but I think that there's things that can be done.
Is a part of making the or I guess getting on the farm, so to speak, helping, enabling farmers, new customers to try this kind of technology, is helping them look at and analyze the ROI. Is that one of the things that you're finding is becoming, you're having to focus on more and more? It's just not about this many acres and we got this much product on, or we have this many people using our product, but it's actually helping the farmer analyze the data to know that it's returning, giving them an ROI.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the early stages we had to understand the ROI of a variable rate application. I think what we want to do is understand the ROI of the entire farm, of all the things they do. And so whether that be, a farmer has two types of tractors in his field that he uses, which one works better? Which one works better on the conditions that he has versus the conditions of somebody that farms 20 miles away, which varieties work better with his soil conditions and his management practices. What I find is that when you get 20 farmers around and they discuss what they do on their farm and what works for them, that makes a big impact to other growers. They listen, they discuss, they come up with decisions. I think we want to kind of take that, call it sort of the coffee room discussion, and actually put science behind it, so that when a farmer says, you know what, this air seeder that I use with that type of opener works better, and I know for sure it does. And that's where data will make that type of impact. The question is that what we try to tell guys is that we can't analyze. If you're not logging information and having a consistent amount on every acre, how can you analyze it? And we don't want to make it so difficult that the farmer can't. I mean, his job is to go out and plant a crop, spray a crop, harvest a crop, and get it to market. We don't want to. This whole big data precision ag thing is supposed to only enhance his operations, not actually drag it down. And I think that's some of the problem that precision ag has had, and that's really our focus, is to make this easy for growers but effective.
Well, Wade, thanks for joining us today. Congratulations on the expansion, and we should do this more often. Love talking to you about this segment of the industry.
Hey, thank you for having me on.